In 1873, Johann Philipp Schifferdecker, a former brewer, bought the Bergheim mill on the river Neckar in Heidelberg and had it converted into a cement plant. He named this plant Portland-Cement-Werk Heidelberg Schifferdecker Söhne. Cement chemist Friedrich Schott was taken on as a plant supervisor and continued to be an important influence on the history of the plant for many years. It was a successful start for the company, but on the 4th of February 1895, catastrophe struck. It was on this winter night that the factory almost completely burned down, a major fire that would long remain in the memories of the people of Heidelberg. As the city of Heidelberg was opposed to reconstruction, a new location was sought and then eventually found in Lyman. This is also where the quarries were located for the raw material. The company's administration remained in Heidelberg, however. By the end of 1895, the new cement plant had already started production. The plant was the largest industrial building of the former German Reich. The factory hall alone was 500 meters long and 60 meters wide. Everything was arranged according to work processes. Only the barrel cooperage, which represented a potential fire hazard, and a few ancillary operations were located outside the building. By 1899, the plant already employed 1,110 workers and salaried employees and was producing 80,000 tons of cement a year. With additional purchases and takeovers, the company soon became the market leader in southern Germany. In 1901, a merger with Mannheimer Portland Cement Fabrik AG added plants in Mainz-Zweisenau and Mannheim. From the very beginning, HeidelbergCement has supported the development of social facilities for employees at its locations. For example, in addition to company housing, a large events hall and an indoor swimming pool were also built on the factory premises in Lyman. In terms of social security for employees, additional provisions were introduced, such as benevolent funds, plant-provident banks, and special payments on various occasions. Even when the First World War began in August 1914 and crisis struck the cement industry, HeidelbergCement continued to focus on expansion. Plants in Almendingen, Ehingen, Marienstein, Munsingen, Schelklingen, Lengfurt, and Kiefersfelden were added, along with 2 brickyards in Cannstatt. Cement production in Germany was greatly expanded when the National Socialists took power. Once the war was over, the majority of HeidelbergCement's plants resumed operations right away. The subsequent reconstruction period was characterized by a rapid upward trend in the cement industry. As a result of advancing automation, employees were relieved of tasks in the areas of packing and cement shipping, which was increasingly carried out using modern silo transporters. Technology also started to find its way into the offices. The use of heavy machinery for the extraction of raw materials in quarries also increased, making the job easier for people working there. during the period of reconstruction, new products such as plaster and mortar supplemented the company's product portfolio. The entire cement plant was now managed via the central control room. Product quality was checked from the outset through the on-site concrete and cement labs. In the early 60s, the infrastructure projects in Germany in particular contributed to growth in cement sales volumes. The company likewise grew in line with this development. In 1962, the construction of modern corporate headquarters commenced at Berliner Straße 6 in Heidelberg. The group's technical office, located in the headquarters, takes care of the planning and modernization of factory buildings, which are always adapted to the latest standards. The level of automation continues to rise in the plants. The company entered the relatively new ready-mixed concrete sector in 1960, and business in this area was so successful during the 70s that a new business division emerged from it as a result. Until the end of the 60s, HeidelbergCement was only active in southern Germany. This all changed, however, when the Lehigh Portland Cement Company was taken over in the US in 1977. In the late 80s, the political changes in Central and Eastern European countries brought about new opportunities. HeidelbergCement became the largest investor in the building materials industry within this region. International expansion accelerated in the 90s. The biggest steps to date were the takeover of the Belgian CBR and the Scandinavian group Scancem, through which the company extended its reach to the business regions of Western and Northern Europe and Africa. The international market presence grew considerably with these takeovers. Through the acquisition of companies and participations, HeidelbergCement has been expanding in growth countries in Asia and sub-Saharan Africa since 1995. In order to benefit from the increasing economic power and rising demand for cement in countries such as Indonesia, India, Ghana and Tanzania, cement capacities are developed further in these regions. The most recent and largest takeover was that of the British building materials company Hanson plc in 2007, one of the world's largest manufacturers of aggregates. After the acquisition, not only did HeidelbergCement benefit from newly added market regions such as Australia and Malaysia, but it also became the global market leader in sand, gravel and hard rock. 140 years of company history impressively show the emergence of a global corporation, which on the one hand is still firmly rooted in its home soil, but on the other hand is operating on a global scale and represents one of the world's leading companies in its industry. Today, HeidelbergCement is one of the largest building materials manufacturers in the world, with around 52,500 employees at 2,500 locations in more than 40 countries. HeidelbergCement has made a commitment to sustainability. This role is not new, but deeply rooted in 140 years of corporate culture. Even though the focus may have changed greatly over the decades in individual countries, everything we do is still centered on technical progress, the conservation of resources, environmental protection, and social responsibility at our locations. And this will continue to be the case in the future.